I have a couple things from them. I think the shirt's too small.
Doesn't look too small.
Autumn said right when I walked in.
She said
She goes, shirt's kind of small.
Yeah, I can see your belly button.
Yeah. She said, "What is that supposed to be, a crop top?" And I said, "Autumn, please quit negging me."
Yeah.
She's trying to assert power in this.
She's our boss.
Yeah, I know. And she likes to remind us of that daily.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I know today's theme is Chinese.
It's Asian Dictator Day.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. That was not brought up to me beforehand, but I will take it. I went, speaking of Chinese, I went to a hawker market yesterday.
What is
which
that?
is like a Singaporean kind of like food court on 50th.
Okay.
And they had a lot of food that reminded me of the shape of your eyes.
Lots of almonds.
Yeah. Almonds.
Yeah.
Crescent cookies.
Clams.
Yeah. Lots of mussels. No, it's just like all Singaporean food. You'd love it. It's like,
I don't even know what Singaporean food is.
a lot of it looks like the same as, I mean, so it's not just Singaporean food. It's like Thai, Chinese, Malaysian. It's like just all kind of different Southeast Asian food. And some of it definitely looked Filipino. And I also heard some Josips around there.
Okay.
You know, so I think it was your people.
Okay.
Yeah.
On 50th?
50th and I want to say 7th or 8th.
Was it like an outdoor market?
No, it looks like one of those like trendy food court places, but it's all legit. Like not like the food didn't even like appeal to whites.
Oh, that's great.
It was like your
I
style.
love that.
Yeah,
I hate it when it like they dumb it down.
When they dumb it down for us for our retarded palates. Yeah. Well, I prepared today by watching a documentary.
What did you watch?
I watched Adam Curtis's Can't Get You Out of My Head, which is, I've seen it before, but I wanted to be refreshed.
What is it? What is that about?
It's kind of about the creation of the Chinese state post the Cultural Revolution and kind of like the power struggle there and how that informed kind of the modern American state and British state.
Are we talking post Mao?
Mao. Like
or pre-Mao?
Prime time Mao.
Yeah.
Mao had...
we're bringing him in.
Yeah, Mao had like a lover, and I don't think they ever were married, and I can't say her name because it's, you know...
Probably going to come out racist sounding.
Yeah. It would sound like a...
Ding-a-ling, ping, ping.
You said it. No, she was like an actress before the Cultural Revolution.
That was his fourth wife.
Yeah, but she got really into party politics. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of had like more idealistic hopes for the Chinese state, and she got pushed out by the party. And
I don't know what.
exiled.
So this is where the Qing dynasty ended. I did some research, did what I could. Qing dynasty ended, I think, in 1912.
Yeah,
and then Mao came in 49.
Hold on one second. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Known Zone. Yeah. This is Andy Haynes. I'm joined by my consummate flower blossom lotus.
What's consummate mean?
Regular, consistent.
Yep. I'm a flower blossom.
What's your name?
All the time.
Blossom. Flower blossom.
Flower bosom. Wilfred Padua.
And today we're going to be talking about...
Probably a little bit more Mao than one-child policy. We're going to talk about China in general, but it might be one-child policy focused.
And I think it's a good time because everything is pointing towards a new cold and hot war with the Chinese state.
Well, they're supposed to be the super economy, the number one economy in like 3 years.
Yeah, I heard that the oil states, like all the OPEC states, are strongly considering changing their base currency, like what they anchor it to the Chinese currency.
Is it yen?
No, that's Japan. I think it's something with an R. I can look it up.
Actually, I watched like 3 documentaries yesterday, and I probably overloaded myself with information. I know more about China I learned more about China in one day than I've ever known my entire life.
It's called the yuan.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think that it's also like pronounced.
And they also have another one called, this is the one that I couldn't remember, renminbi.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah.
So what did Adam Curtis talk about? Like, what's that time period between 1912 and 1949? What was happening?
I mean, I guess it was a colonial period because the British and
Oh yeah.
I think the British and the French. I think the British were the main ones there. Maybe the Dutch and the French were
The
there as well.
Japanese were trying to
Japanese were
hop in.
Were playing fast and loose.
Uh-huh.
And then I think Mao comes about in the 30s, and he's kind of like villager uprising kind of shit.
Yeah, he came from like nothing, and I don't know much about like the like because it was like there was a Democratic Party, like a democracy party that was trying to.
Is that what became Chiang Kai-shek's like Taiwanese people, the nationalist?
Yes.
Okay.
And then there was Mao and his gang of hooligans.
The Communist Party.
Yeah, Mao won.
You give one farmer the Das Kapital, and they're gonna get on some shit. That's why we got to keep these people dumb.
Well,
we can't be translating books.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Because they sure did do that.
But all I know is that basically China was kind of like warring kind of sects in post-colonial up until the end of World War II, and then Mao's people came in, and
the nationalists were backed by the U.S.
I know. That's why we still recognize Taiwan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's.
But aren't they not supposed to say it or something?
Well, that's like the thing is like only I think 13 or 14 countries in the world recognize them.
Okay.
And I think we're one of them. I think we're the main one.
All right.
Because like I think Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi like stopped over for some congee.
Yeah, went over in their dashikis.
Yeah, they wore their dashikis and they did their BLM pose.
What if they went over in like rice hats?
Yeah.
And Nancy Pelosi was dressed like a geisha.
Yeah. What's that movie with Ronnie Chang in it? The Marvel.
Shen-Chi?
Shen Yun? Oh no, that's the. I think Shen Yun is the ballet.
The dance. I think I am right. Shang-Chi, Ronnie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It is Shang-Chi.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Autumn. I didn't watch that movie at all. I'm a bad Asian.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't watch a ton of
Asian
Marvel.
Film? Oh, I don't like the Marvel stuff much either.
I did see Black Panther, but I saw it with like a WGA like free screening.
Oh, wow.
And
Bragging.
I left halfway through.
A little bit of a brag.
Too much white violence. You know what I mean? So Kevin, we had it bad enough. No,
I went and saw the Joe Coy movie because on like a free like perk thing
for Asians.
Yeah, because I did a festival and they're like, we want all of the comedians to be able to get in, and then it ended up being like a private screening for us.
Was Joe there?
No.
Damn,
that movie was awful.
You're not trying to get in on that Joe Coy swag tour?
I would love to, but yeah. I don't think he knows that I exist.
But you have homies that open for him.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm friends with like all of his openers, but they won't mention me to him.
Well, also because they probably want his work.
They want the paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can't split that up with me.
They want to do the Baten Bang Penang Center.
What?
In Miliung Island.
Yeah. So Mao Zedong comes into power in 1949. This all is important leading up to this one-child policy, because so what happens is Mao's goals are to make China fully self-sufficient.
Okay.
And he's also wants China to become as strong as the Western powers like England, the U.S., whatever.
Yeah.
So he also to do this, he wants to like bring in factories and all this stuff, and he makes all of the farms in China communal. So you can't raise your own vegetables. You have to give all your vegetables to the government, and then in return, you get a stipend for food.
Okay.
Because Mao was trading factory stuff for grain. So he's giving grain to Russia in return to
getting cars, bumpers.
Yeah, bumpers.
Like belt loops.
Yeah, there's
the shower caddy.
Like clock parts.
Yeah, clock parts. No, let's keep going. Door hooks.
Widgets.
Yeah, widgets.
Erasers.
Probably. Yeah. Pencils.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be a part of the, wood, lead, that metal thing on the end, then erasers.
You mean the thing that holds the eraser?
Yeah.
The bracket?
Uh-huh.
That's probably coming from Russia, too.
There's no way that this is that interesting. So in the 50s.
Corduroy.
So he makes it all communal. And people are starving. Population's growing. People are starving. There's actually this moment this year where there's a famine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly because Mao is like completely like
He
disorganized.
upended the entire system.
And he's like, it's completely uneven in terms of like distribution of food.
Because all the cities and like hierarchy are getting the food, or like basically. Okay.
And then and so for this one year, he blames it on the sparrows.
Really?
He says the sparrows are ruining our crops.
Did they call it the year of the sparrows?
I have no idea what they did, but I know what they did, which was every Chinaman, every person in China was went out to like hunt sparrows.
Really?
Like they would like throw rocks at them. They would shake trees to keep them up and then like get them tired.
This is like the cultural equivalent of the Tulsa massacre, where
What's
it's
that?
like somebody did something fucked up and then they were like, it was that black guy. But Mao was saying it about sparrows. All those poor sparrows, they probably weren't even fucking with grain.
They weren't. No, and actually, what ended up happening was so everyone people would like walk around with like sparrows on a spear, like to like to like brag about how many sparrows they killed
to scare the sparrows.
Just waving them around. And then the next year, the famine gets worse because all the bugs that the sparrows ate are like eating their crops.
This is like one of my favorite things about communist states. Like, I really do love this, even though it's horrible.
Yeah.
Is like Stalin would do this too, where he would just be like, all right, 2 million people need to move to this lake bed now. So everybody would just get moved. And then like a year into it, they'd be like, we don't have like water. And he'd be like, all right, well, that was a mistake, but I got to kill all of you so that I can't show you that I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And then then everybody's like, all right, well, lesson learned.
Yeah. So there was this great famine that lasted a long time, and there's all this other stuff that I learned about Mao, which was fun, but it led to Deng Xiaoping, who's the next leader.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in after Mao dies. By the way, Mao had like wild STDs.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, that was one of his biggest vices was ladies.
It's crazy to think having a hairline like that, you're fucking a lot, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just money. Can you bring up a picture of Mao, Autumn? Just because I want to see who this was.
Yes.
He was like fucking left and right. And then girls would be like, I got herpes from Mao.
They brag?
As a way to brag.
Yeah, look at that hairline, dude. My man.
He looks cute in that second picture. The one where he's waving.
You think he looks cute?
That's cute.
I kind of like him.
He looks cute with that hat on.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm sure he also had like a lot of personality. Can you show us the giant Mao Zedong statue?
And can you also see if there's a picture of his penis?
Whoa. Look at, they tore down old Mao Zedong and they made, no, you're kidding. Can you pull up young Mao Zedong?
Was he hot?
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, that's a good looking.
My
kid.
man's hot. How did he
Is that what I look like?
Yeah, that's exactly what you look like. Damn. All right.
But I mean, he's also rich and the person in charge, so that's
But
probably
is
how
he
he got laid.
rich?
Yeah, he was like, because the distribution of wealth was like.
So they weren't actually like as idealistic as they said.
No.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he was like betting his like fourth wife was like the number one actress. So it was kind of just the equivalent of, you know.
He wasn't the nicest guy.
Really?
Yeah, he killed like millions of people.
That was the Cultural Revolution,
Like
right?
maybe 20 million people. So the Cultural Revolution in the 60s happened, and that was because I think his whatever his equivalent to Kamala Harris is, his VP was
his Kamala Harris. Just say that.
His Kamala Harris turned on him.
Damn,
And-
she used black girl magic on him.
And she and so he turns on Mao, and like all of the politicians are, around Mao are like, this guy isn't that cool, and so Mao starts targeting campaigns at the youth.
Oh.
And the campaigns are like, you guys are the future. Like, you need to wash out the old guard and everything. And so
He turned the youth on his enemies.
yeah,
He found his ops.
And
he put shooters out.
yes, but he it was a political shots, not actual ones. And but the violence actually came from the youth. He was just trying to create like. Stir up violence and like fear in the country, and to do that, teenagers were attacking their teachers.
Nice.
And beating the shit out of them,
Killing them.
Yes, and then I don't.
I bet you
my
that was
knowledge
like
gets fuzzy after.
I
that.
bet you that kind of like backfired a little bit, because I bet you all these people, like, you know, they had like a teacher they didn't really like, and they were like, this guy sucks. And then they saw the ads. The ads were like, you got to kill these people.
Yeah.
And then the next year there just wasn't teachers, so they just had to go work in fields.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
They're like,
pretty much.
Damn, I wish I would have just done my periodic tables.
There's stories of like in the Philippines during the Marcos regime where like they did the same thing where they had like teenagers as soldiers, and the teenagers would take their teachers and like torture them and like rape them, and then they would be like, we should probably learn some stuff, right? Like, can you teach me social studies again?
After?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm guessing discipline got a little weird after that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's hard to keep them in line.
Tardiness, all that. I would just
Who said that?
Oh, it's my attacker. Never mind.
Yeah.
You are right. I am a dickwad.
Yeah.
Now, so did that just extend out into like it just became basically like mob rule, and that's how the Cultural Revolution happened?
I don't know much about the Cultural Revolution.
Okay.
Because I wasn't really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was trying to get to the one-child stuff. Because I think the Cultural Revolution was in 1966. Mao dies in 1976. So there's 10 important years that don't exist to me.
But I think that is the important thing about this podcast that people need to know, which is that we
don't know anything.
The whole point of it was that we know enough to sound like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So this is
like, look at how far we've made it into the podcast with me sounding smart.
Yeah. And what are we? How many minutes in are we? Yeah, that's 21
That's
minutes
really
of
impressive.
bullshitting. Yeah.
Imagine that at a party.
Yeah, you'd be dripping in it.
I'd be standing behind a podium wearing a Mao costume.
It was 66 to 76. Sociopolitical movement of people's launched by Mao Zedong, asking towards death. Oh, that's where the Little Red Book came from, where he had denunciation rallies against revisionists. They grabbed power from the local governments and CCP branches, and then they had revolutionary committees. You know what's interesting about this is, so I think that what a lot of people don't realize about like revolutionary societies, which is like all Cuba, Nicaragua, the Soviet Union, lots of these African countries, is that they all base this stuff off of Marxist theory. And the whole idea with Marxist theory is that you revolt against these power struggles, but then there's consistently revolutions. And
Oh, really?
because inevitably Marx and Engels, I think, believed that power corrupts, and you're going to see these people constantly
I didn't
trying to.
See, my understanding of it was that Marx didn't look that far ahead.
I mean, I think there was later theorists that kind of extrapolated from where he was at.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had plantain chip.
That's okay. But so there's supposed to be a constant upheaval and perhaps violence.
Well, I think ideally, in like an ideal society, they wouldn't have to be violent and, brutal. But because inevitably that always happens, there'd be more and more revolutions. And so they'd kind of turn over. But China's really the only success story in socialism.
Sure. Well, the details that I've got make it sound not so chill.
All right, well, let's get into it.
So 1979, we were instilling the one-child policy under Deng Xiaoping. I am pretty proud of myself for learning how to pronounce these things.
Me too.
Yeah. And so a part of it was the fear of like going back into that starvation and famine because the population in 1979 was touching 1 billion. Also, this is an important detail.
It was touching 1 billion in 79?
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy. I don't think we think about people banging it out like that over there.
I think Mao had like a thing where it's like he had a thing about the family and then
like make babies.
Yeah, and I think the average family size was 6 people at the time, or 6 children maybe. But there's another thing, like Mao was like very ambivalent about giving a shit about population.
Okay.
So
obviously there was a famine. He didn't really think out a lot of these number dudes.
But so he just stopped any population studies in the 1950s. And then when he died, they started up again.
So in the 1950s, he was just like, don't worry about it.
I don't think we need to count much more.
Little did he know. And
then so population was at about 1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put in the one-child policy. And actually, like, quality of life raised for women and for... well, to an extent, there's an asterisk on that for women and children.
Okay.
Raised for women because women like didn't have to just stay home and raise kids.
Yeah, they could go out and party.
They partied. They took shots.
They went to karaoke.
Yeah,
they
had
shopping.
Brunch with their girls.
They had brunch with, yeah. They all got in like tights and white sweaters with like a vest and a cowgirl hat, and they took pictures outside of a barn in the fall. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, holding a pumpkin.
Yeah, they had a lot of like fall themed cocktail parties. Yeah. Okay, this is all making sense.
So
that is a better quality of life.
That is a pretty good quality of life. Yeah, women were doing women shit. And children were...
Autumn just deleted this whole episode. She was like, sorry, assholes. Okay.
Children were getting a better education.
Okay.
And like a little bit more focus from family. Like, I think this is where like the idea of a tiger mom comes.
Yeah.
Because you only have one kid, so you're going to put everything in it for it to be good.
Unless it's a girl.
Well,
are you going to get to that?
We'll get to girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I actually know something about the current Chinese state that's funny about this, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Here we go. People started preferring boys over girls.
Okay.
So in some cases, families were allowed to have a second. So if you gave birth to twins, that's fine.
Okay.
One child actually.
They didn't make you pick.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. They made them fight. They
had a baby fight.
Yeah.
That's awesome. 2 infants fighting it out. Cool.
And a bunch of Asians. And
I've seen actually paintings that look like 2 infants fighting.
Really?
So. Yeah. Fat babies.
They would have the fat babies in like a pit.
Mini sumo circle.
And then there's like, chicken wire and a bunch of older Asian men betting on them.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, I like this. So when did they start? So you were going to say they're allowed to have twins, and then what else?
So they can have one. It's one child means one birth. really.
Okay.
But in some cases, if you gave, and also this was not like evenly, there's no justice to how this was distributed. But in some cases, if you had a daughter, they go, go ahead and
Try again.
Go for a boy.
Yeah.
And then usually in like we're talking about like the Uyghurs, the other minorities in China, those are the ones that were like, they're like, come on, you guys got to stop.
Yeah. You guys look weird and talk different.
Yeah. What are you doing over there?
Don't be doing that.
Yeah, nice try doing what
So
we
wait,
do.
how are they enforcing? Are they forcing abortions? Are
Forcing
they
abortions? A lot of times they're killing babies after birth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
very late.
Yeah, a little bit late on the abortion thing.
Fourth trimester.
Yeah. That's the only time where, I mean, if you consider that an abortion, Christians are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a life.
Yeah, that's a cold one.
And then there's sterilizing women too.
Yeah, I heard that.
Which I have no idea how, I didn't like look up what that was like, what that procedure was. But so in my head, I was like imagining a guy with like a welding mask on. Just
soldering it shut.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not going to send my child to your high school.
To Dr. Wilfred.
Dr. Wilfred. I am having a girl.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah.
How fast is it?
It's in the DNA. I don't know. Rosebud took a DNA test, and
what?
They can tell from the DNA.
What DNA?
I guess when you're pregnant, the baby's DNA is in your blood. I don't know.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, they can tell all sorts of stuff.
Oh.
But because you have to take it, it's like right around 12 weeks, you take this thing called a NIPT test.
Okay, what's that?
It basically tells you if you're going to have a mongoloid.
Okay.
You know, like any kind of those syndromes.
Yeah, because they're like, you guys are probably cousins. We got to take this test.
Well, also, we're both in I'm 40 and she's in her late 30s. So, you know, it's like the eggs are not fresh, so to speak. We're operating with like 7-Eleven eggs.
Sure.
You know what I mean? This is not farmer's market.
Yeah.
And a
couple of them are cracked.
Yeah. The expiration's been actually like marked, like scratched out.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I don't think they write the expiration date in pen.
Like, did raiders come through here? Were people trying to steal eggs?
Yeah. Who sells 5 eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a girl, so I don't want you to. Please don't be her healthcare provider.
I'm not going to.
Thanks.
I'll be your podcast dad.
Yeah, I mean, after fall, you know, presuming everything goes well, we will have to have a little baby thrown in here.
Oh yeah.
We'll bring the baby in and we'll try to teach her questions directly to her face.
Give her tiny headphones.
Yeah. And we'll be like, these are the facts.
Yeah.
Don't you like that idea, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, cool.
We're like, little baby, this is what Hitler was like.
Yeah. This is what the Stalin did when he killed the Ukrainians. Okay, so the girls are not ideal because they don't carry the name.
Yeah, you wanted to keep your family going.
And also, I think,
which, like, come on, everyone's last names like Li and Ching.
It's like Chin, Hong, Wang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any other ones.
Peng Dang.
You said it, Betty. We gotta have a real Chinese person in here at some point, just to tell us all the secrets.
But so if you had a second birth, though, usually your family was shamed. Unless you were like a
rich person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a state party kind of official. Yeah.
So, but you were shamed by like probably in the community at the least.
But like if you got pregnant, did they have any stories about people like they would like send the first kid off somewhere?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like, that's why like Chinese adoption was like such a big thing.
Oh, okay.
Most of them were girls. I actually met a girl at a show that was one of these babies.
Really?
Yeah, she's a throwaway.
Did you say that to her?
I did. I said it on stage, and the whole audience was like, "What?"
What was this on the tour with Rufat?
No, this was at New York Comedy
Oh,
Club.
that's so funny. You said you were a throwaway?
Yeah.
Oh, you were a throwaway.
But she laughed.
Okay, good.
Yeah. She even followed me on Instagram. Shout outs to whoever you were.
That's great.
Oh, and the fine. So if you had multiple births, the fine would be $1 million.
Like in their currency?
Like $1 million
The equivalent of
American dollars. Yeah.
For having a second baby.
For having like multiple births.
I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, like long term, if you consider like a lifetime of state covered shit.
How much it would cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, sterilization, they just slap IUDs on ladies all the time.
Probably.
I think it's just a patch.
You know what? So this is the thing that I was going to get to, was the way this backfired is that all these people wanted a son. Yeah. Everybody wanted a son. It was in the culture that that's what you wanted. And so everybody tried to have sons. They literally murdered baby girls, and for decades, for like 2 or 3 decades. And now in China, like right now, the generation that's all of like 30, there's literally,
they're like our age, pretty much.
Like 30 to 40 years old. There's literally like 1 girl for every 8 guys.
Yeah.
And so
there's 30 million less women
than men.
There's 30 million more men than women.
Yeah. And so they're trying to like import other Asian countries' women. And
oh, really?
Yeah, like because they don't want it to like be completely different. They don't want to like mix the culture too much, because they still have this belief that like Han culture is, like the main. That's like what they're trying to do with ethnic cleansing in the West, is like because the Uyghurs are like, they look different. They're like more. They're like from the steppe, so they have like more like,
they're hot.
Yeah,
they're hot
like
fucking people.
Eurasian, I think is what it's called. And
well,
then
they look mixed.
Yeah, and they also they're Muslim. So that's another big no. And they speak a Turkic language. They don't speak a Asian
language. Really?
Yeah, they speak like something similar to like, it's probably actually closer to like Azeri than it is to Chinese.
So are they like they're a part of China because China doesn't want to let go of the land? Have they tried to go indie?
I think they probably tried to go indie a long time ago, and China's not really like, as you could see with like the Tibetans, they're not really like into indies. They don't they like pop music.
Yeah, you gotta stick to the label.
Yeah, you gotta play Taylor Swift, Carlos Santana. That's how much current music I know. Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, Ed Sheeran. But anyways, so there's also another problem. So there's all these guys, and they're all horny.
Yep.
And they're trying to get girls out.
Yep. I can get that. I understand that.
But a lot of them are having sex with each other.
The fellas.
And so
they're banging each other?
Yeah, the government does not like that.
So is China like prison?
I think a little bit. I mean, I just think that it's real hard to find a single lady.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of sex tourism that occurs. A lot of sex trafficking that is occurring, bringing in foreigners to bang. There's also this thing called birth tourism.
That's this way, right?
Yeah, that goes. Well, it's anywhere outside of China, so people are leaving to go have birth.
But are they going to have? Is the one child policy still in effect?
It was until last year.
Really?
Yeah. So
they're trying to grow some girls. 2015,
they're like, you know what? How about 2 kids?
Really?
And then in 2021, they're like, let's do 3.
Yeah, that was after COVID.
Yeah, it was. So it was May 2021. I think they said 3. June 2021, they're like, just go for it.
Oh, so it's open season.
Yeah, it's open season.
Well, because they have a pretty strong middle and upper class now, right?
Well, so yeah, they're very wealthy. That was a whole other thing. I watched this documentary about how like the rise of China. Mm-hmm. They made all these like these zones that were they made like, it was dozens of zones, which were like little cities that were zoned out for Western companies to come in.
And do kind of like tax-free.
Yeah.
Like we call them, they have them in Mexico, where it's American companies are allowed to open up warehouses
Yes. Yeah.
like 10 miles into Mexico, and they're called maquiladores.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so it's basically Mexican wages for American companies, and there's like tax incentives on both ways. But I mean, obviously China is the number one manufacturing country in the world.
Yeah.
They're making almost everything, which
Yeah.
is crazy because they used to have to get zippers, corduroy, bracelet lockets,
Yeah. All from Russia.
PCR buttons, door handles, juice lids. Do you want me to keep going?
So this also, I mean, the main thing, because who really cares about women, you know? So the main issue is that it's created like an imbalance in generations.
Yeah.
So like now there's everyone our age is one child.
Yeah.
They don't have any siblings. So
They have 9 grandparents, though.
they have 4 grandparents.
Okay. That makes sense.
And so you and I would have to take care of our 2 parents and our 4 grandparents,
And then probably some of their siblings.
and probably some
So
other
there's
people.
like one working person taking care of all these elderly people.
Yeah.
You know what's also weird about that is that what I was thinking about with like the rise of China is that like whenever you see Chinese exchange students over here, they're always like driving like a white BMW, wearing like Fear of God clothing and Yeezys.
Yeah, they're
Like-
just like soccer players.
How good is the economy over there that they can just come over here and stunt on us like that?
Well, I think there's billions of people.
Yeah, and and obviously that's like they're the upper class.
Yes,
those are the rich kids.
So
of
I think
China.
there's like 1.4 billion Chinese people, which is crazy. How did you make that many people? And 35 years you didn't let anyone bang.
I know.
I don't get how. That's how good the Chinese seed is.
Damn.
Is it surpasses government restrictions,
Yeah, it's like in the water. Dudes are jerking off into rivers.
and then it's feeding the crops.
Yeah. And then ladies are eating the crops and getting pregnant. This is a smart podcast. This is a podcast for smart people.
Yeah.
We should I think one thing that we could do for Patreon episodes is we could do like the current events stuff. We could just break down like the week in news.
I would like. I mean, I don't know if we want to date this, but our man D. Trump
Just turned himself in
yeah,
today.
He's downtown.
He's downtown.
He's on the Lower East Side.
You know what? We should go right after this and just go check out the protests.
Yeah, I am heading in that direction.
It'd be fun to see if there's some Looney Tunes out on the streets with signs and shit.
Apparently, you had to like line up very early.
Oh, that's how many people are down there?
Yeah, there's like reporters and everything.
Oh, I just want to see the melee out on the streets. You know, the kooks.
Oh yeah, and I think there's like protesters on both. I mean, obviously on both sides. Like what's the
Cool
name?
people.
Eric Adams was like, "Please don't throw rocks at our stuff." We got to go to work still.
Let's talk
What
a
did
little
you
bit
learn
more.
about?
I learned like the historical kind of creation of the Chinese state, which I talked about earlier. You know, pre-Cultural Revolution.
The Chinese Republic of People's Republic of China.
Yeah, the formation of like from kind of feudal society to colonial society to kind of like a warring kind of competing different sides, which there was multiple. There was like 20 different kind of crews fighting for control of China at one point.
Yeah.
And then it really broke down to the nationalists, which were kind of the modern Western-backed Chiang Kai-shek, and then the Maoists, which were the communists.
Yeah.
And I don't think they actually called themselves the Maoists at that point, but they were like, all his supporters were based in the like poor farmers, laborers, some idealistic students. But, you know, like people in the big cities were like, I don't want to like farm and just like read 3 books and all wear one uniform. I don't think they knew about that. But then the nationalists got beat. They got their asses handed to them. And so they fled to Taiwan. And there was actually population.
We're talking about like the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a population of people that lived on Taiwan, like already, like a indigenous group, and the nationalists just killed them, just massacred them.
Oh wow!
So that they could have more. They literally.
There's no good people in
they
this world.
drove on trains with Gatling guns and just mowed people down from the train.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was gnarly.
By the way, did you know that China's working on a railroad system that goes from, I think, Beijing to London?
I know that they want to make so there's the Orient Express,
Yeah,
which was not an express. If you are talking express, I mean,
lots
it was
of stops.
It was weeks. It was weeks on that thing. But I guess that's an express for that era of travel. But I know that they
Wait, what was the Orient Express?
It went from Moscow or Vienna to Beijing, or
Oh yeah.
it was
they liked each other a lot.
And then also
Still do, actually.
You oddly have the country of Mongolia in there, which was I think it was part of the USSR. Mongolia, which is like north of Manchuria, which is northern China.
I know nothing about.
They're also like a indigenous kind of steppe people, really good with horses.
Oh, they were.
And hawks.
Oh yeah.
They can fly, or they can ride a horse with a hawk on their arm.
And then they can, if they had two hawks on their arms, they could
fly.
The horse would take off.
yeah. That's how a lot of them got around pre-Orient Express.
That is like two hawks on your arm, and the hawks are doing this, and
you're doing that too, and the horse is doing it with his. Actually, the horse is just flicking its tail. Yeah, that's how horses fly. We should do a train episode.
What's that?
Like an episode on trains.
All right.
You thought that was like a specific style of episode?
No,
where we just do like a car. Each car represents a topic.
Yeah, I thought there was something, and then you said train. It's actually just about trains, and I don't know. Your autism is really showing right now.
Yeah, I know, but I have there's a lot that that's actually one of the things I care about in current public policy.
Is trains?
Yeah, because like everywhere else in the world, not really anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, but most places in the world, they rely on trains, and they're great. You know, like you can get anywhere in Europe in like 6 hours on a train, maybe 12 if you have to go like across the continent. And in China, you can go from like Beijing to Shanghai in like 3 hours, and you're going like 250 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, and the bullet.
Yeah, the bullet train.
Are they the ones with the bullet, or is that Japan?
Japan was the first, but the Chinese have really stepped it up.
Yeah.
And you can go like way farther. They've like kind of extended it throughout the country. But like we should be able to go to Chicago in 6 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Like we should have trains that do that. It would make all of this like...
Yeah, why don't we have a better train system?
Because we're such a car-dominated country.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we want it's an individualist society, and we don't think about, like in New York we have to, because there's too many people to be like people still do only think about themselves, but
yeah. But I think it's also just it's more of the economy than anything else.
I was talking to a friend, Kibby, lived in China for a year. He taught English, and he told me that the food is nothing like the food we eat. Their
What's
food
it
is
like?
It's really gross. He said that they value texture over flavor.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you'll eat like a bowl of like, it'll just basically be like a kind of bland broth full of like tripe.
Yeah, I hate tripe so much.
And people are just like, yeah, this is great. And he's like, this is the grossest thing. It's like basically like egg drop soup, but like no MSG, no egg, no corn, just tripe. And
did I tell you that I think I got MSG like sick last week?
Like the time that we did in with Rosebud in LA. Were you on that trip?
No, what was that?
We got sick from MSG. We got like MSG poisoning at like that Taiwanese restaurant with the congee.
Oh no, that was, you guys were there before I got there.
Oh, okay.
So that was like the week before I showed up.
Yeah.
Because I was in San Francisco that week.
So you got it this week?
Yeah, because I ordered those seafood boils.
Yeah.
Like at a restaurant, they just throw it on the table and then you put on a bib. And I ordered one of those to my house. And it was
really. Did you have a date?
No.
You just ate a seafood boil by yourself.
Yeah.
How much was it?
It was like $60 for.
No occasion.
No.
Were you sad?
I was tired from work.
Were you sad?
No.
You just were like,
I'm on antidepressants.
I'm
like,
going to treat myself.
as happy as I could be.
Okay, great. And it'd been good work day?
Yeah, so it was the rush was this week.
Oh, okay. So you had your bag.
Yeah, and I ate it and I just could not the next day. I think there's so much MSG in it that I could not get hydrated again.
Oh, you were just like everything was just going back into
lips were chapped, mouth was dry.
Just dust.
Yeah.
When you orgasmed. Yeah. When you orgasmed, it looked like you were breathing in a cold room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there, buddy.
It was like it's like the last breath of an old man.
Oddly enough, in China. So now I think really quickly, we'll probably talk about this more as time goes on, but they're talking about, so China now is, it's the same party has stayed in power since Mao, basically. There's been kind of iterations of it.
Deng Xiaoping and the person, like whoever was Mao's VP, his Kamala, they were the ones that took over right after.
Yeah.
But it's still communism, and it still looks very similar.
And I think in 81 or 81 or 83 was Tiananmen. And I think Tiananmen was actually almost a reckoning. Like they almost they almost fell apart based on.
That's when the lady was standing in front of the tanks.
It was a guy. He just, he was like very slight.
Oh yeah,
thin, we all have long hair.
Our hips are.
You make the best lady boys.
We do.
Now I think there's been multiple kind of iterations, and there was definitely the opening of the economy was a big deal.
That was in the 80s,
and then their economy's been so prosperous.
What the hell is that? Just like throw up a little?
it was like a deep burp, but it was just like a bubbly burp.
Oh,
a bubbly burp.
Yeah, I don't know how to I can't belch.
Yeah, you'll barf, right?
So yeah,
I think I've seen you try this before.
I just throw up like a cat.
But so anyways, Chinese government has been getting stronger and stronger. During Trump's era, there was kind of a standoff with Obama somewhat as well. But with Trump, it really came to head where there was a embargo and there was tariffs put on steel and things like that. Kind of a Cold War trade war, I guess is what you would call it. Mm-hmm. And that has not gotten better with Biden. There's been some communication. But as a result of this, China has always kind of been basically against us, and they always have kind of sided with the people that we kind of alienate in the world. So Iran, Russia, obviously North Korea, and then I think to some extent the Indonesians, and then China's the biggest developer in Africa. They have basically
Are they big cobalt fans?
Oh yeah, I mean all the cars and
are all those
processors.
Batteries being made in China?
No, a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them are made in America.
Really?
Yeah, the Tesla has like a city in Texas that they make batteries in.
That's nice.
But I think it's kind of all over. But recently, China's been doing more kind of like Big Papa style diplomacy, where they're going in and they're making people get along. Like they went in and they made Iran and Saudi Arabia renew their kind of, like being like an arbiter like the U.S. is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then they also...
But that's just probably for their benefit?
I think it probably helps them with oil.
Sure.
And it also helps them with just probably it's a lot of its optics.
Did you know that most of the solar panels in the world are created in China?
Mm-hmm.
And to create solar panels, the way the Chinese people, because they have no regulations on their...
It's super polluted.
It's super polluted. It's worse for the environment to have solar panels from China than to
use gas.
Yeah.
To burn coal.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I'll talk to my buddy Jake about that because he's knows everything about how we're going to save the planet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he works for Tesla in the home battery department.
It just feels pretty hopeless.
Yeah, we're gonna die. I mean, I'm bringing a good girl into this world that is like my dying breath is gonna be like, go to the cabin,
Find water.
take your mother to where I told you that the supplies were held. I don't know why my voice is like that in 15 years. But recently China's really been kind of buddying up with Russia, and obviously we don't get along super well with Russia. So it's looking like there's going to be some kind of... Oh, and also one of the biggest things is that China is trying to take over all of the South China Sea.
Yes.
They took back Hong Kong, obviously. They got it back in 1999.
I know quite a bit about I watched a couple YouTube videos about the South China Sea.
Yeah, they're like building islands.
Even just the name South China Sea is controversial because
it's got another name, right?
It's got each country that surrounds the South China Sea has their own name on it.
Okay.
It's like the North Filipino Sea or whatever.
So how do the Philippines feel right now about this? Is there a chance that they're going to be Chinese again pretty soon?
Yeah. Well, so everyone, all the other countries are kind of like teaming up together and being like, hey, we got to like figure out how to get this shit back. Because China, the rules are you you own up to 2 miles off of the shore of your country.
Yeah. Then who owns the rest?
I think it's open.
International?
Yeah, it's open waters. But China has been building islands and naval bases on coral reefs, which is a whole other ecological issue. But and
training dolphins too.
Yeah, training evil.
They really are. They have like trained dolphins with like cameras and shit on them.
Oh, really?
That's a real thing. The Chinese are training dolphins for war.
To do what?
Spy? I don't know. Fucking drop bombs off? I'm not really sure. But they definitely have like, hey, will you this will be our last thing because we got to go. But will you please look up Chinese
dolphin
training army?
Chinese dolphin.
Yeah, look at that. Military marine mammal. Yes, dude.
Soviet Union does it too? See, this is why like our armies are better.
Iran?
Wait, we have this too?
Yeah. This is so cool. They train sea lions? They got sea lions. I'm going to San Diego next week. I'm gonna salute. I'm gonna give it up for these troops.
What is this
I'm
for?
sorry. Some of them escaped during the Hurricane Katrina flooding.
This is the best Jason Bourne movie ever.
Why isn't this a movie? This should be a movie.
Oh, this is so cool.
We have like military trained dolphins. Like, why did we make more Jurassic Parks when we could have made one of these?
Oh man, this is the fucking belugas are out there.
So what do they do?
I don't know. The dolphins and sea lions are trained by 5 teams in Navy and Marines on team specialized swimmer detection. Okay, 3 teams in mine. Okay, so they're mainly for mines, I think.
Okay.
Will you go back one page? I could have swear
that's so funny. The idea of like a dolphin and
wait, can you
dress
go to
like Rambo,
North Korea one?
Jumping out of a helicopter.
Yeah. This is so cool. I love it that there's dolphin troops. In North Korea resemble those used to house.
There are dolphins that have done more for America than the people that showed up at January 6th.
Trump was on like some kind of fun shit where he'd be like, we're going to go to like Space Force,
Yeah.
He should have really been touting the trained dolphins. Man, we got to do a North Korea episode.
Yeah.
Because that's a fun one. They actually have like a really fun story.
You know what's interesting about North Korea? The one thing that I know that's interesting is that for the most part, it's actually run by a woman.
Really?
Yeah. Kim Jong-un's sister is kind of like
Would you call her a girl boss?
Yeah.
Shit. Girl boss nation.
Uh-huh.
You guys, were you going to say something?
That's okay.
Okay. That's been this episode of The Known Zone. You know everything about China now. You don't need to learn anything else. Please like, subscribe, leave a review.
By the way, we're pro-China. just in case.
Yeah,
this gets back to him.
This whole thing has been a salute to the party and the
You guys rock.
You guys are so cool, and we love your weird cars that you're going to send over here. We love all your stuff. I'm actually this is all being recorded on a Huawei.
I love
computer
Beanie Babies.
Yep. I love knockoff Karopi things.
Oh yeah, they also they're 85% of counterfeits are made in China.
Hell yeah.
And they're like all the way up to like counterfeit medicines and everything.
Yeah. I've heard about medicines where they got fentanyl in like regular over-the-counter pills because they were just like doing too much mixing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were just like they're making like Tylenol and fentanyl in the same plant. Please, if you are watching now, go to the screen and you will see the email where you can email us questions, observations. You can leave voice notes. We will have a Google Voice number ready pretty soon. But for now, just go to the email, and Autumn is going to say the email out loud.
theknownzonepodcast@gmail.com.
Ooh.
Yeah, exciting. So please send in all of your thoughts, observations, praise, thoughts, and then have a great weekend. I will be at the DC Improv May 5th through 7th, which is probably when this will be coming out. And then I will be at the Philadelphia Punchline May 25th through 27th. So come on down.
We're also going to be at Soul Joel's April 20th.
Yeah, 420, brah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. We're going to get fucking blazed, although I'm not. I'm going to just...
I won't either.
I'm going to put CBD lotion on my arms.
It's Hitler's birthday. I don't celebrate.
We don't celebrate that. All right.
No. Bye.
Bye.